And good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Best Doggone Podcast with Ethan and Heather. We are a part of the Fanatical Elves Network, a subsidiary of Fans First Sports Network. How are you doing this?
I am so good. There is so much for us to talk about. It's like sports nirvana right now. There's so much going on, and I'm loving it. It makes me miss football a little bit less.
Yeah, we should be especially thankful in our sports world and that we've got our Cleveland teams doing some great things, especially the Cavs.
Yep.
The Guardians, well, they're interesting, of course, but it's definitely enough to keep us busy. There is plenty of going on, and not just surrounding our Cleveland sports, but then you look around the sports world in general, the craziness that is going on in the NBA from last night. Not just the games. We're not talking about the games.
We're talking about practice.
Right, exactly. And then the craziness going on surrounding the NFL draft and all that went down with that. I mean, I know that you said you missed football a little bit less, but this is drama.
Well, this is just like the football. This is just like the football violence fix that we get. The NBA, the playoffs woke up and chose violence. So there's a lot to unpack here. So we need to say hi first. Brad, thank you so much, Brad, for joining. We love you. And Mike, we love you so much. Thank you. You're always here. We love the discussion. So thanks, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. It was so great last week for us to be together on Friday to do the podcast. It was amazing, and thank you for those that tuned in. It was a odd time on a Friday, but it was good. It was great to be able to be there together, and so much has gone on since then.
It has. We were completely in the middle of the NFL draft madness. And honestly, I thought that that's all we were going to talk about for the next 6 months, because it feels like that's all we've been talking about for 6 months. And when you and I had met, we had completed the first round and we were getting ready for the second round. And what a second round it was.
It was crazy. I mean, right out of the gates, Browns take a linebacker.
Yeah, so that's where we can. So I thought let's just get into the draft. So I thought we would trade. I thought there was a big potential that we would trade, and I actually thought that we would take that wide receiver, because I felt like that's where our needs were. But nope, nope. Everybody had other ideas. So what did you think?
Well, okay, so when we last spoke, in person with our audience on Friday, we're sitting there thinking, okay, the Browns make this trade. We go with Mason Graham. Okay, all right, but we got the 33 and 36 coming up here. You're thinking to yourself, okay, maybe the Browns are going quarterback at 33.
Yeah. I thought wide receiver. I did not have defense anywhere. No. I did not have that because we had grabbed Mason Graham. We're thin on the offensive line. Maybe we reach and take somebody from the line, but I did not have a defensive player.
Now, do you think the fact that the Chiefs took Josh Simmons at 32 from Ohio State kind of screwed that one up?
I do. I think that changed it a little bit, because I do think that that's what we needed. We have some serious needs on that O-line to fill.
Right. I think that the linebacker position is also a position of need, especially with the uncertainty of Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, who suffered an injury and really
a gruesome injury. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's been no
word about it. No one is talking about it.
Right. There's no specific information about the nature of the injury, but given all of that, you can kind of sort of figure it's not looking so good there. And they get Carson Schlesinger.
I know. But you know what, though? All of not that this stuff matters, but the draft stock and the draft analysts, they were high up on him. I mean, I don't know if they were high up on him at 33, but nobody really said, okay, that was a completely off the wall. That was a huge reach. That was a huge grab. I saw a lot of positive because I'm fortunately part of draft professors. And I was in their chat and just seeing some of the things that they said. So made me a little bit more excited to see them pick him.
Yeah, it ultimately, I think it's an all right pick. I mean, the guy made it. He went from unrecruited and going in the second round. That's pretty incredible. And then for the Browns to get Quinshon Judkins at 36. Wow.
I don't. My tweet, cancel the draft. I'm done. I didn't need anything else because that's what you and I had talked about at lunch, actually. Like running backs, who would we want at running back? And I will fully admit I'm a little bit of a homer, but I think even the draft people can say Judkins or Travion Henderson were far and away, like they were good, solid running backs. They're going to be good. So when we got Quinshon Judkins, that was it. I was done. I don't need to see anything else. I've got everything I need. And I promise you, I will have a Judkins jersey.
Oh, absolutely. You're like, here, take my money.
Take my money. Take all of my money. As soon as I know what number he is, that's it. That's the jersey. That's my jersey.
Yeah. Did you see?
Yeah, Travion. But I was happy either way too. And I actually, Mike, I said the same thing. I had Travion a little bit higher than Judkins, but it was like 1 and 1A. I mean, we were talking because they're just two completely different running backs, right? And I would say that Travion is maybe a little bit more of a Nick Chubb, like he's a basher, he's strong, he's going to blow through. Where Quinshon he is shifty and he's got some speed. So
I actually would kind of flip flop that a little bit.
Yeah,
Quinshon's he's 20 plus pounds heavier than Travion.
Well, he is. Yeah, he is, but I think that Travion is stronger. Feels like Travion is stronger. And Quinshon has that burst of speed like immediately. Trey needs a couple of he's a good downhill runner. He's fast. He's got long speed. Quinshon has that short burst speed.
Right. So either way, so we took the other running backs that were off the board in the draft were Ashton Genty, who went to the Raiders at 6 in the first round, and then Omarion Hampton went to the Chargers at 22 of the first round. We take Judkins, and then Mike Vrabel 2 picks later turns around and takes
Hendy. Yeah.
I mean,
which was really cool. It was really cool.
Absolutely, it absolutely is. And so you're thinking, all right, what else does this night have in store for us? You know, what else? Oh, but wait, there's more.
There's more.
And for us, I mean, the Browns, they take Harold Fannin Jr. And I know we're talking a lot of Browns because, that's our team. And,
Yeah, but they were a lot of the biggest surprise. They were the biggest surprises, I think, in some of them. Yes. I mean, they did a lot of – they had some puzzling moves and they had some home run moves.
Right. And the next move
I wasn't upset about Fannin, though.
I love Fannin. I
like that. Yeah.
That is a fantastic pick. And then was the head scratcher at 94.
Okay.
We're all going like, oh, they're going up to get a quarterback. They're going up to get a quarterback.
Yeah.
Dylan, Kate, I had him nowhere close.
No, I agree. I completely agree. And I think I posted something mean. I said his height will go really well with the hands. With
Kenny Pickett's hands?
Hands. Yeah, I already blocked his name out. I said Gabriel's height and Kenny Pickett's hands. We almost have a complete quarterback.
Yeah, I don't know. I was busy having, my friend's son make a meme of Dylan Gabriel standing next to Beverly Goldberg since they both shop in the same place with their jazzercise socks and short shorts.
I mean, they're shorty shorts.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because you look at that point. Talk about the quarterbacks off the board. Everybody knew going into the draft that Cam Ward was far and away.
Like it wasn't even an honest to God, if you put Cam Ward in next year's class, I don't know where he would have fallen. I think Cam Ward, he's good and I think he's going to be fine. But is he going to be that quarterback for Tennessee? I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. He's good though. But there was and then there was everybody else, in my opinion. So
right. And that's kind of an interesting discussion there when you say the everybody else, because we're going to get to the Browns' last pick of their draft. But let's go to the other quarterbacks. Were you surprised surprised that the Giants traded
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
back into the first round to get Jackson Dart at
20. So that was one of the things that, when we were outlining what we were going to discuss, it was the biggest surprises. And that was actually the biggest surprise. It wasn't the fact that they grabbed Jackson Dart. I don't know. Did they need to trade up to get him they traded into the first round to get Jackson Dart. And I just don't know. Maybe Jackson Dart, because you have Malik Neighbors, right? Like, you have arguably the best wide receiver, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. So, he's just got to get the ball up there. But Jackson Dart, like, I don't know.
Well, according to and for whatever it's worth, and, according to Tony Grossi, he said on the Browns draft board, Ward, he was one, but he really wasn't even there. Mm-hmm. Then I think that their second guy on the board was Dart, then Shuck, then Gabriel, and then I think it was Milrow, then Sanders, or Sanders. But the point being,
because Milrow went earlier than
right,
I thought.
They went two picks before we took Gabriel. But it appears that they like Gabriel better than Milrow.
Well, I guess I can understand why. I'm not to bash the guy, because I actually like Baker Mayfield, but Baker proves that you don't have to be huge to be a good, decent quarterback. It certainly helps. It certainly helps. What was the other, before we get into what was the other surprise for you in the draft aside from that?
Well, first and foremost, I was kind of shocked with the trade by the Browns at 2. I guess I'm not.
Yeah, I think we all were with that. We all were. And, people talk about how, the Browns gave up a generational player, but I understand that. But without a lot of the pieces around that, I don't know how good Travis Hunter would have been in a Browns uniform. He would have been okay, but, he needs, I don't know how good he's going to be in Jacksonville though either, but at least the quarterback room is a little bit more stable in Jacksonville.
Well, a little bit.
That's why I said a little bit. There's some stability in comparison to us though. My Nala is a more stable quarterback than what the Browns are working with right now.
Exactly. Jacksonville's got some issues of their own. Trevor Lawrence.
They do.
They've got another first-year coach.
Yeah.
And then they've got this general manager they brought in like 2 weeks before the draft. So you're like, what?
Well, right.
What are they doing?
Right. Jacksonville. That's what I'm saying. I hope Jacksonville loses every single game because we got the first round pick. So I'm going to be rooting for the demise of Jacksonville. I don't want anybody to get hurt, but I wouldn't be mad if they went over. Like, I'd be okay with her win 1 or 2 games. I'm okay with that.
Oh, absolutely. And the ideal situation for the Browns in making that trade is if Jacksonville stinks and the Browns have 2 high draft picks or 2 first-round draft picks, maybe one really high from Jacksonville. Maybe we're a little bit better. And as it turns out, one of the guys we drafted ends up being a potential future quarterback, franchise quarterback, such that you don't have to draft another quarterback next season.
Right. You don't have to waste a pick on another gamble. Yeah.
Right.
That's ideal. That would definitely be ideal. There were 2 surprises for me.
Okay. What you got?
This draft. So the first one was, and it wasn't a surprise, it was just a cool statistic. It was the Green Bay drafting Javon Walker in the first round. They haven't drafted a wide receiver in the first round since 2002. So it has been 23. Like, it's been a long time. And then actually, when I was just looking at the draft, Dallas did nothing to beef up their wide receiver room. They didn't get a wide receiver. Who do they have outside of CD Lamb? So I was surprised that Dallas didn't do anything to get better in that position. I don't know. Maybe they're going to try to pick up some players in the supplemental draft, but they need someone else aside from CD.
Well, actually, that's very interesting that you bring that up right at this second. I just was looking and out of curiosity to find out what was going on with Isaiah Bond. Isaiah Bond, as we talked about, had sexual assault charges, and he went from being maybe a second rounder, third rounder to not drafted at all, and still has not been signed. But he
No.
has been
He has
linked.
been invited. He was invited, I thought I saw, to a training camp for like a tryout, but nobody has signed him.
Yeah. So that maybe Mike. Well, first of all, best quarterback in the draft. He's awesome. He's going. What?
I don't think so.
No.
We can agree. We can, and I don't want to mispronounce your name. Is it? Oh, Alien. I'm not Alien Overlord. Yeah, Alien Overlord. I don't think so.
I mean, I'm rooting for the guy. If he turns out to be phenomenal,
I am too. I would love that.
But I'm highly doubting that.
And like, there ain't no way that Amari is going back to Dallas. Like Amari had his heyday. I mean, they can have him. So yeah, and our friend Candy Corn guy, that there are always wide receivers, but Dallas needs somebody that's not going to be like an Elijah Moore. And I don't mean to pick on him, but
hey, he just went to Buffalo.
Right. But you need someone who's going to be a little bit more, you have to have a strong, especially with CD, because CD is going to get all of the looks. He's going to always get the best corner coverage. He is always going to get safeties. Free safeties are going to be sniffing him out. So you're always going to have that coverage on him. And he's a freak, and he's going to be able to make some really good plays. But you have to have someone who is like a wide receiver too. And I just don't see.
I mean, I'm looking at the roster right now, and certainly this is, obviously not fully up to date. I don't know what they've got, but yeah, CeeDee Lamb. Kavontae Turpin, but he's more of a returner. He's not even a receiver. Yeah, they got some problems there.
Right.
I don't know what they're thinking, but yeah. And then the other thing that I thought you were going to bring up as one of the kind of cool stats, not really a surprise, but Ohio State leads the way with 14.
14. Yeah. I mean, I was sad. This is how spoiled we are and how wrecked I am. I was a little bit bummed that we didn't get 16. I'm like, come on, someone. When they drafted Denzel Burke, I thought, we got this in the bag. They took Denzel Burke. Everybody is going to go. And then they didn't. And I'm like, all right. I'm like 14, I guess. I guess that's okay.
Yeah, but just an amazing.
It was a hell of a draft class for them.
It really was.
I mean, all 17 guys signed. So as soon as the draft was over, even the guys that G. Scott, he went to the Patriots, I think. I was so happy to see that, because if you had asked me who my favorite player was on the Buckeyes this year, not my favorite player to watch, but just overall, just from an overall perspective, it was G. Scott Jr. because he stuck it out. He could have entered the portal. He could have played anywhere else. But his dad was always so positive on X and talked about how if you want something, you have to work for it. And my son wants to play on the best team, and he's going to work. And if he doesn't get the targets, then he's going to block and he's going to do all of those other things. So G. Scott, I was so glad to see him get drafted, because just a likable player.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I'm glad he got picked up. And did I see correctly? If I look correctly, amazingly, the only let's see, am I looking at this right? The only wide receiver out of Ohio State to get drafted was Ibuka.
Well, he was the only. He was the only one. Yeah, he was the only one, because Jeremiah Smith is
not eligible yet.
Right, and Carnell Tate was only a sophomore.
Okay, so it's not a matter of that. I'm thinking.
No, it's not a matter they didn't pick him up, because I can promise you Carnell Tate will go. He'll get drafted, and I promise you that he's not going to be a first rounder, but Carnell Tate will get drafted, and Jeremiah Smith will be the number one pick.
Yeah, 2 more years. 2 more years.
2 more years. Yeah.
All right. So let's go to our just kind of Cleveland. The biggest story really in the NFL draft, for better or worse, was Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah.
And him, the fact that the Browns went up and got him in the 5th round, they gave up a 6th and 7th round pick. Whoop the hell.
That's it. Then that's whoop-de hell. And that's it. Like, so everybody that got all bent out of shape about it, we gave up nothing for it. And there is, you want to talk about all risk, all reward and no risk in this move, because if he doesn't work out, he doesn't work out. It's a 5th round pick. We didn't blow a 1st round pick. We didn't blow a 2nd round pick. We didn't blow any of our 2nd round picks. And we didn't blow our 4th round pick. So who cares? Like, if he doesn't do well, he doesn't do well. If he does, then that pick is going to look like the best of the draft. So that, to me, that was all reward and no risk, whether you like the guy or not.
Yeah. And I don't understand, like, do you think that most people that don't appreciate Sanders, is it because of his, I don't know, I'm going to use the word bravado?
Yes. Yeah. It's his dad. I think his dad adds to it because you have other players who are blowhards. They're just as mouthy. They're just as, everybody likes the humble kid, but people secretly like the kid that is mouthy. But I think that Deion's dad amplifies that by like 1,000,000%. And then the fact that they had teams I will not go to, like, there was just such an unappreciative cockiness to it all, where even the blowhards are like, I'm the best. You want to take me. And they don't care where they go. They're just excited to get drafted. Whereas Deion Sanders had a do not, we're not going to this team. So I think that really hurt his draft stock big time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they talked after the draft, after the fact, a lot of stuff. Well, and I shouldn't say after the fact, there were things coming out about him in the interview process. And I hope that this has a humbling effect. I don't know.
Well, he's already putting his money where his mouth is. Did you see today?
On Marshall High School.
Yes. He said, I'm going to go and I'm going to talk to the Cleveland youth. And he put his money where his mouth is. So I'm not going to, do I love the pick as far as he's our starting quarterback? No. But am I really like kind of eager to see how this plays out? And, maybe there'll be this like villain character arc where everybody hated the guy, but then he comes in and he just works his butt off and he proves to everybody that he's going to be that community guy. He's going to be the one, studying film, first in, last out. You never know. You don't know. So I'm reserving all of my judgment on him because, there is raw talent there. So let's see what Stefanski can do with him.
I kind of like that. And to alien overlords now comment about he's being disrespected because he's 5'11" and a lefty. I don't think the lefty has anything to do with it.
Lefty doesn't have anything to do with it. I don't care. I don't care southpaw or not. Like, I don't care about that.
So you want to talk about all the statistics? How many years did he play college football to set those records? Remember when we drafted Colt McCoy and he was the winningest quarterback in college football history?
Correct.
That means nothing.
It doesn't. That doesn't mean anything.
I'm hoping for the best. I am hoping for
Absolutely.
the best, but I am sorry. I just don't see it. Let's wait and see. We could be wrong. I could be completely wrong, and I will eat crow if I'm wrong.
I will too. That's the thing. I will. So, and you have to look at college records subjectively too, because you're going to carve up like a Marshall or an Akron or a YSU, and all of those stats get counted towards your career stats. Right. You're not going to play anybody in the NFL that is going to be garbage like that. The worst team in the NFL but the worst team in the NFL is still better than the best team in college. And you hear all that, I think Ohio State could beat the Browns. No, they can't. Even with 14 players drafted, you still have all those other players that aren't going to get drafted. So no, that's just not how it works. So again, like you said, I would love to see Gabriel go and ball out. And also 5'11" means like 5'10". They always add a little bit. Size matters in the NFL.
It does. It does. And I mean, you don't see many undersized quarterbacks having great, successful, long-term careers.
Right.
There are the exceptions. There are the Drew Breeses of the world. They're the Doug
Correct.
Fluties of the world. To an extent,
They also had functional organizations. I wouldn't call
right.
the Browns a functional organization right now.
No,
I
and
simply would not.
And I don't know about Kyler Murray. I'm not sure that.
Don't even get me started on Kyler Murray. Mother of God. I just think Kyler Murray is lazy. I think he's lazy right now. I think because he was so talented for so long, and I just think he's lazy right now. And I will never forgive him for saying, and I don't care who he was saying it about, when he said, somebody asked him about, getting the ball more to Marvin Harrison Jr. because he's such a good receiver. And he said, it is not my job to get him the ball. Yes, it is, you dummy. Is it Marvin's job to get himself the ball? It's the coach's job to call the plays, but it's your job to get the ball to him. And when you're flushed out of the pocket, call an audible and get him the damn ball. So that aggravated me. That just aggravates me. So I am not a Kyler Murray fan at all. At all.
Yeah, maybe we need to get on Call of Duty and hunt him down or something like that, and get him on the video game. We can get him on the headset, maybe.
Yeah, listen, Kyler.
Release.
Meet me outside. I just want to talk.
Right, exactly. So where were you when the Browns? Also, let me not forget Dylan Sampson. Heck of it. We talked about that. Heck of a sneaky good pick for the Browns.
Oh, that was when they picked him up. I was pumped. I was jacked. Not quite as excited about Judkins, but what a deep running back room. But man, did they strike gold with him. I like him. I like Dylan Sampson a lot. Yeah, and you know what? We can talk about that was actually one of the biggest winners that I had listed.
Yes,
and I had
absolutely.
Tampa Bay listed for Emeka Egbuka. Man alive. Like, that's an embarrassment of riches in the wide receiver room at Tampa Bay. Holy cow. Yeah. Holy wide receiver. Yeah. That's incredible. And I don't know if anybody saw, but Emily Mayfield took Emeka and his friends and his family out like as an introductory welcome to the team dinner. So they're already embracing him. That is going to be my team. That's going to be sleepy scary this year.
Definitely, and especially coming out of the NFC South.
Correct.
I mean, give me a break. The Panthers, okay, I like them getting Tetairoa McMillan and
I like Ted McMillan. Yeah.
Potential.
Yeah.
But then you talk about the Saints. They draft Tyler Shuck.
I know.
And so they're kind of in flux. I'm not sure about their roster.
No.
It's not a great division, so they should come out of that division without a doubt. I know Atlanta with Michael Penix. Okay, he played a few games. We'll see what he can do in his second year.
Atlanta is like one of those teams where you can't ever, like, week to week, you can't say this is the team, this is Atlanta, because one week they're going to blow your socks off. They're going to blow the doors off of you. And then the next week they're going to look like the 0-16 Browns. So you never know what you're going to get out of Atlanta. I'm not sold that Atlanta is there yet. They're making a lot of moves, but I don't think they're there yet.
Well, right. I mean, they've got certainly some great talents there between Kyle Pitts, Bijan Robinson, and gosh,
Bijan and Kyle. Well, Kyle Pitts he's
kind of been disappointing. He's kind of been disappointing, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I agree. I that's what I was. He's okay. But the tight end, that's the tight end. Maybe we're starting to see a resurgence of the tight ends with how many were drafted and how high up they were drafted. I actually have the Colts as one of the winners in the first round too. I think that Tyler Warren is a great fit. I think he's a great tight end. I think that the Colts fans I don't know how they feel about it, but I love the pick. Just as an outsider looking in, I thought Tyler Warren was a really nice pick for them. So.
Oh, definitely. And it kind of a good segue there, maybe, as you bring up Tyler Warren, as he apparently was also one of the other big stories was the prank calls that were going on. Not only did
he was one of the ones that got it. Yeah.
I mean, amongst others, it was kind of crazy. And the biggest news was talking about Shedeur Sanders getting the prank call from Jax Ulbrich, the son of Jeff Ulbrich, defensive coordinator for the Falcons, as he got the number off of his iPad.
So I think what the difference was with the Shedeur one is there was a couple of differences for me. Because do I think what happened and them getting prank calls? Yeah, I think that's not funny. jokes are supposed to be funny. Prank calls are supposed to be funny, but that's you're messing with someone's life at that point. Like that's their dream. You're crushing their dream. But what the difference for me was, and there was two. The first one is that Shador actually got a cell phone that no one but NFL execs had that phone number. It was specifically only for the NFL draft. So it's not like they could have gotten the number, like they could have done some detective work and gotten the number. Like if I really tried, I probably could get Tyler Warren's number myself if I really wanted to try. Don't mess with me. I can find anything online. But Shador, that phone was, and I forget who it was, maybe it was like Boost Mobile or something, got that phone just for him. Special number, not a recycled number. It was just for him. So it's not like they found it by accident. And then the second was that he was the talk of the whole entire, they were talking about Shador after every single pick. Mel Kiper, we almost saw him bottom out on TV when he did not get picked. Mel Kiper was like, someone needed to send help. So they were talking about him every single pick. So like you chose the one guy who probably, he's still a human, whether or not he was already wealthy and whether or not, he's a jerk, doesn't matter. He probably was very upset. So it was just the manner that you did it. I thought that was the jerkiest, grossest thing that you could have ever done.
Right. Now, okay, so as I'm reading it, not only did Shador get a cell phone, a temporary cell phone, the NFL provides players, for what I'm reading, draft day cell phones. So it's not just Shador. And so outside of the one, we know how the Shador number got out there. What about these other ones? Because they have fined the Falcons $250,000 and Ulbrich $100,000.
$100,000.
All right, what do you think the punishment should be for his son? What do you think that Jeff Ulbrich is going to do to his son?
Nothing. He isn't going to do anything to his son. That to me, that's what aggravates me, because that to me is a child who has never been told no a day in his life, because he was not scared of the consequences. That little dummy filmed it and then it got out. Like that little idiot has never been told no a day in his life. And those are the kind of people that you just want to punch in their face. Like there needs to be consequences for this. I'd make him do community service. I would make him do some kind of X amount of hours of community service. However much, $100,000 you're doing that much community service. So son, your summer, that's what you're going to be doing.
Oh, yeah. And Mason Graham, Isaiah Bond also did. I saw a guy from Alabama.
Isaiah Bond deserved it.
I mean, but the point being, like, where did a lot of these people doing the video of it and posting it. Like, are you that stupid?
Yes, they are, though. But there's no fear of consequences.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Right.
And I don't even know, but that was a whole other spectacle going on and story to be discussed here.
Yeah.
I think that overall, though, a lot of teams did some damage. They found some good players. Were you surprised about the Steelers not going quarterback until the 6th round and taking Will Howard?
No, I had right after you, Ethan, I had done a draft pod, and they asked me, being the Ohio State homer, where I thought Will Howard should or would go. And I said, unfortunately, the Steelers, because I'm not saying I called it. I'm just saying I've watched the Steelers a lot, obviously, and I've watched Will Howard a lot. And I just had a feeling that they were going to go with him because he fits into their style. They're going to coach the hell out of this kid. And I think this is what I think. I think they're going to get like a veteran, like an Aaron Rodgers, and they're going to develop Will for a year. And I don't think we'll see Will Howard somewhat this year, but I think that he's going to be their quarterback of the future, unfortunately for us.
Yeah, but that's if he succeeds. It's a low risk pick.
It's a very low risk pick, but the Steelers they're just, as far as coaching, like we want to talk about some of the coaches that can develop quarterbacks. Kevin Stefanski does. He's a very good quarterback coach, but the Steelers are just so consistent, and
But
you will
they
not
don't develop quarterbacks. They
but
don't
you will
develop.
not, but they get them into the playoffs. You will not find a coach in the NFL that's better at coaching the talent that's around him and not the scheme that he wants. I think Tomlin does well with coaching for the talent that he has in that moment.
No, he maximizes it, definitely. But were you surprised that Kyle McCord went before Will Howard?
I was shocked about that. I was absolutely shocked about that because, Kyle McCord did fine at Syracuse. He did okay.
It's Syracuse.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's Syracuse. And Mike, no, I don't think that Pittsburgh would have taken Sanders. I still don't think they would have taken. I think Will Howard was their guy. I mean, obviously, I don't know, but I think that Will Howard was their guy. So, yeah, I was shocked that Kyle McCord went before.
I know. And then Riley Leonard right after Howard. So the national championship quarterbacks go in the 6th round.
They did. But that usually that happens though sometimes. That does happen sometimes because the national title teams are more well-rounded. You have to have the insane talent around them, and you can go with a decent quarterback, right? Like, I don't know. Because, Jamarcus Russell, remember Jamarcus Russell for LSU? They didn't go to the Nationals, but I'm just saying, Jamarcus Russell. Well, I think they did, didn't they? Was that who beat us in 2007?
No, I don't.
I forget who that was. But I'm just saying, like, you can have really good quarterbacks in college, but, they don't always translate as well into
it was just very interesting. And then the Texans, they really don't need anybody to take Graham Mertz. Okay, that's a flyer.
Yeah.
Cam Miller of North Dakota State goes to the Raiders. How about Tom Brady, the mentor of Shedeur Sanders, passing on him like 10 times?
I know, but I wonder how much, Tom Brady had to do. I don't know. I don't know how much Tom Brady had to do.
It's kind of crazy. It's just kind of crazy. Curtis Rourke goes to he goes to San Francisco, and then Quinn Ewers, who was one of the high-rated prospects entering this.
He didn't do himself any favors in the last half of the season. I actually owe Curtis Rourke, not that he cares, but I owe him an apology for like talking about how he had cement in his shoes because he was actually very injured, which is why he wasn't as mobile of a quarterback. And I did not know that. I don't know if anybody really knew that.
No.
Because he had cement in his shoes, but he wasn't mobile because he couldn't be, because he was very seriously hurt. He played hurt the whole year.
He did. So, yeah.
Rourke might be a little bit of a diamond in the rough there.
He may be. Out in San Francisco, Shanahan does a heck of a job.
Yes, he does.
They should be set for a while with Purdy, but Purdy gets injured.
That's what I was just going to say. If Purdy gets injured, they might have a little bit of a diamond, or, maybe they'll develop Rourke and they'll have a little bit of trade bait. You just never know because
you really don't.
Coach. Yeah.
It was, but all in all, I think there weren't too many crazy things that happened in the draft. Guys seemed to, other than really the Sanders fall.
It wasn't that crazy this year. It really wasn't that crazy. I think it was exciting to see the caliber of running backs that went so late. But again, that was just a testament to the really super incredible talent that this running back class was just loaded. So it was kind of cool to see how late some of them went. And you're like, okay, this 4th, 5th, 6th round pick could make an impact like immediately. So you never know.
Yeah, I feel very good about for our team, for the Browns. I feel like they made some good pickups, and hopefully that will translate. I don't know what's ultimately going to be the final quarterback room, because certainly AB loves his picks, and so
I wouldn't be surprised if Pickett was
as Mike points out here, potential Pickett trade.
I don't know a trade. I don't know if anybody wants him really.
Right. They tried to do what they did with Snoop Huntley last year.
Yeah.
And because if you want them to get the practice squad, you have to cut them and they have to clear waivers. Well, they're not going to cut either of their draft picks unless
they're not.
so it's between Flacco and Pickett. We know what Flacco can do, although they might be hoping that Pickett can do some more. But we shall see. There's a lot going on there. But I think we about beat this one to death.
We have beat this one to death. I think we can take a break for.
Yes, let us take a break here for a moment to get a word from our sponsors. You are tuned in to the best doggone podcast in the land with Ethan and Heather here on the Fanatical Elves Network. And welcome back, everybody, to the best doggone podcast in the land here on the Fanatical Elves Network, part of the Fans First Sports Network. I just want to remind everybody, be sure to like, subscribe, follow us. And, if you don't catch us live or, you want to listen to an episode later, you can get us on all your favorite platforms for your podcast, Odyssey, Spotify, Apple, etc. So please give us a look there. Make sure you like and subscribe to not only our channel, the Best Doggone Podcast, as well as the Fanatical Elves Network. All of us, there's a lot of great programming out there. So, Heather, the other big thing going on right now is the NBA playoffs.
It is. And like Mike said, it's time to let him know. But there's a lot of other stories going on aside from the Cavs. Obviously, we're very invested in the Cavs. So where do we even start with to unpack a lot of this stuff?
Well, I think we should start with last night first.
Okay.
Because that was crazy.
That was unnecessary and it was crazy. And I think I've gone on a Pacers tirade today. And I don't know why it made me as mad as it did. So, Ethan, do you want to tell the audience in case you haven't signed on to anything at all, because it's been all over the news. So tell us what happened.
Here's your prize. Why don't you tell them about it from last night? Well, the Milwaukee Bucks are down 3-1, and Dame Lillard is done for the season. And they're playing Game 5 in Indianapolis.
Torn Achilles, in case anybody doesn't know.
Yeah, torn left Achilles.
Yeah.
And so he may not even be back next season.
I know. That's unfortunate.
Crazy. But the Bucks take this game to over. I mean, they have a 7-point lead with 40-some seconds left in overtime.
Yep.
And they have some costly turnovers and ultimately lose. Tyrese Halliburton with a
game winner.
It takes the lead with a game-winning layup with
1 second. Yeah.
Yep, 1.3 seconds left. And the Bucks throw up a three-quarters court shot that wasn't even close. But after the game is when it got interesting, because there was a little bit of a run in there between Giannis and not a player, not a coach. We're not talking about players. We're not talking about Tyrese Halliburton's dad.
Gets on the court and gets in Giannis's face and does, what was he thinking? Gets in his face. And when I say in his face, if you get a chance, watch the replay. I mean, they were nose to forehead to forehead. And I'm thinking, okay, Giannis had to reach down 12 inches to get to him. But dude, your son just hit not a buzzer beater, but the game winner. Go congratulate him. First of all, get off the court, go back behind into the locker room and congratulate your son. Do not get in a player's face and rub it in, especially Giannis. It was the most unclassy, trashy move ever. And if that were my dad, oh my God, I would have lost my mind. I would have lost my mind.
Yeah.
And that's the funny thing. He didn't even know who this guy was.
Right.
For all he knows, he's this really weird fan.
A stalker or somebody's going to do something crazy coming up. This is how we effing do it. And he's cursing at him in a towel with Tyrese's face on it. Dude, that's just uncalled for. They were talking about it today on Cleveland Sports Talk about the time that LeBron told Gloria to sit her what down.
He did. He got in her face and screamed at her until I remember that. He was not playing. And at that moment, he was like, "You are not my mom. You are a guest of mine and I am at work."
Yeah.
Let's put that into perspective. I'm working and I'm working and I'm having a discussion with someone and they say something to me and my dad just happens to be there. And then he gets on camera and starts getting in their face like, oh, she told you. I would be fired. Like there would be I'm at work. That's it. Tyrese Halliburton was at work.
Yeah, this was a major breach. The security, where was the security on this as well? How are they going to let him walk out on the floor? That's suspect.
I do it, and I'm going to get arrested for stalking.
Right, and I know Giannis was talking in his very eloquent answer about, after we won the NBA championship, my mom was like, "Oh, can I come on?" Or at some point in one, can I come on the floor and hug you? And just the respect. I wish more athletes had the humility of Giannis.
Right.
That was just beautiful to see that. I think that's why. Go ahead, Heather. Go ahead.
The fact that Giannis didn't pop him, he didn't know who he was. If that were me, I don't know if I would have held my temper. But he's lucky he didn't get popped right in the mouth. And I don't condone violence. I'm just saying in the heat of the moment, sometimes you lose yourself. He's lucky. John Halliburton is very lucky that Giannis was the player. Because I could see a J.R. Smith just hauling off and popping him right in his face.
All right, Heather. We don't want
to if John Halliburton ain't getting in trouble for this,
you've got autographed shoes.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Isaac Okoro, that's my guy. I cannot promise you anything unless something serious happens to Halliburton's dad. I can't make any promises because there are no consequences.
Yeah, I mean, it was absolutely crazy, and it just, man, I don't know. Just the whole situation is messed up, and I hope that the Cavs can put the Pacers in their place. I
hope that they stomp them. I hope that they blow their doors off.
Blind watching the games that are in Indiana because of that ridiculous
that court. I know. And you know what's ironic is like I didn't actually hate the Pacers until now. And it's also like double ironic because it's not even Halliburton's fault. It's not his fault that his dad, that's not his fault. I can't get mad at the Pacers, but I am. Here I am. I am out for blood. Like I was blowing my mouth off all day. So I hope that these Cavs can cash the check that I wrote.
Bingo.
Yeah. J.R. Smith was definitely throwing hands. You know what? No, maybe New York Knicks J.R. Smith was throwing hands. Cavs J.R. Smith had LeBron like holding him back. He was a little bit less hot under the collar under Cleveland.
He was a little bit more subdued. There are some guys that definitely would haul off. Albert Bell would haul off.
Oh, yeah. Albert Bell would have killed him.
Yeah, exactly.
He would have stomped him. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. So that was crazy for Milwaukee. And
I know that was. And you know what? It overshadowed. What was unfortunate is that it took the moment away from Tyrese Halliburton. It was a really good play, but no one is talking about that. Everyone is talking about what his dad did. So, and then there was the apology. Like, I respect, okay, you apologized, but if I do or say something that's terrible, am I automatically supposed to get a free pass because I said sorry? No, that's just not how it works. You're not sorry that you did it. I think you're sorry that it got the attention that it's going to get. But you're not sorry you did it. So don't even pop off about that either. Like, I hate those fake apologies. You know what? I stand on my business. I did what I did. I'm sorry. Say you're sorry for what you're really sorry for. I'm sorry that I embarrassed my son. I'm sorry that I took away from his moment, but I'm not sorry I did it. Stand on your business and say it with your chest.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think about Doc Rivers? I feel like he is an underachiever.
Oh, big time. Doc Rivers is a big time underachiever. Like, that's not even I will always remember Doc Rivers for the nepotism drafting his son. Well, I mean, it's like with the Lakers, and at least Austin had a little bit of a better career, but
he had a pretty solid career, but he has just been so underwhelming.
Yeah.
And has had so much talent to coach. But on the flip side of that, you got this Knicks and Pistons series, and JB.
That's been fun. That's been a lot of fun, hasn't it?
It has, not being involved in it.
I agree. I still think that the Pistons will lose though, because they should have actually, honestly, they should have closed out that. Yeah. Well, they almost should have, they should have probably closed it out, because was it 2 games? Oh, no.
They choked away game 1.
They did choke away game 1.
And then in game 4, they got hosed.
Right. But that's the JB Bickerstaff effect. It's the butterfly effect, that you just don't close out games late in fourth quarters. That's what we did when he played, or when he coached in Cleveland.
Right. But what was Tom Thibodeau doing?
I don't know.
Like, I know you had 1 timeout left, but the clock is ticking, and you got your 2 of your best players standing on the sidelines waiting to check in.
I know, which is so unlike him, because he's a good coach. I mean, he's a solid coach. He's good enough to not have done that.
Yeah, I was shocked. I guess he was hoping that something would have occurred as a stoppage in play. But as it starts going down, it's like, okay, dude, what are you doing?
Right.
It was just ridiculous. And I'm trying to think, I was watching so many different things.
Oh yeah.
With bad inbounds plays and so on and so forth. I can't remember who did what.
He was just sloppy. Like both the Knicks and the Pistons, they do look sloppy. Sometimes it looks like they're, instead of in a race to see who's going to win the game, it looks like they're in a race to see who's going to lose this game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a heck of a series. So I'm almost kind of sad that it's going another game, because you want this as strong of a team as possible to take on Boston, because Boston just shellacked Orlando and shut them down. They did what they should have done.
They did. The only thing I think that the Knicks will probably be more physical with Boston than Detroit will. Right. The Knicks are just more a physical team. So that's what I want. Even if they only take it 5 games, and even if they get swept, you want to beat Boston down a little bit. You want to, wear them out. And I don't mean literally beat them. I don't condone that. But I do miss the late 80s, early 90s basketball.
Oh, those are some fantastic days there. Nala's chiming in. She
did. As soon as I said that we don't want him to beat, she barked a little bit. She's like, "No, yes, I do. I want to see violence."
Yeah, I mean, I love that. I do love that. So Cavs Pacers will start on Sunday. The tip-off, we don't know what time it will be, but Cavs will
I can promise you it's going to be a primetime game.
Well, it depends on if there are any Game 7s. Because remember last year, the Cavs played in a Game 7 on a Sunday.
They did.
Magic in the afternoon, and the other games started after that. So it might be a little bit later. And then out west, I mean.
Now that you're bringing up the Lakers, what is actually going on? I did not have on I think that they would win the series? Maybe. Like, am I going to be shocked if they lose this series? No. Am I shocked that they're going to lose it in the manner? I mean, they're down 3-1, and they have looked completely outmatched.
That's because they are. Other than LeBron and Luka, they stink. They stink. This has been the problem. I mean, let's just be honest. They don't have a great group around those guys, and they've got to improve.
Well, and LeBron is still LeBron, but he's not primetime LeBron. Like, he's not going to be – he's still very good. I mean, I don't know. Father Time –
right. I don't think he can drag a team the way he did the Cavs in 2007.
Correct. Because this is reminiscent of that. Primetime LeBron would have willed that team to at least a first-round series win. This LeBron can't. He's gassed.
Yeah, there it is. That's right, Mike. So they're going to be Cancun on 3.
Yep.
Cancun on 3. Oh, my God, that game on Monday night, the Cavs.
Okay, but
Oh,
let's talk about that since we are Cavs fans, and let's talk about that. First of all, okay, in all fairness, I am trashing the Pacers on social media, but in all fairness, I was trashing Tyler Hero on social media too, because he popped his mouth off about our defense. He's like, we're not going down 3-0. Their defense isn't that good. If you can, yeah. How about at one point we were up by 60? 6-0. 6-0. We were up by 60 points. I mean, you know, we kind of let down our guard a little bit, and we only won by 55. You know, they gave up, but what else?
In a playoff game.
In a playoff game. That's the thing. I do not care that Miami was the number 8 seed, that we won by 55 points. And we had our third string in Tristan Thompson. He needed oxygen by the end of that game, because that man saw more minutes in that game than he has the whole entire season. And it was just so much fun as a fan to watch, because as I'm sure as a Miami fan, nobody had the game on, but you know, and I don't want to hear from anybody how they will say, oh, I like the close games. No, you don't. As a fan, I was able to watch the game, and I did not have to have a stroke. I did not have to rage tweet. I did not have to vape. Like, I didn't have to have a shot. I was totally calm. It was the greatest thing ever. And it was just so awesome to see that.
Yeah, definitely. It's nice when you get those games to be able to just chill. I mean, I'm looking over here at a score in the first quarter. The Rockets lead the Warriors 31-13. Rockets fighting for their lives. That game was getting ridiculous the other night with the fouls, the technicals, the flagrants with Draymond Green. That guy's a punk.
I don't like Draymond Green. I will never like Draymond Green. There will never be anything that he can do that redeems him. I just don't like him ever. Like, never, ever, never. I don't care. Retire. Go away.
So basically, it's like what you're saying is it's like Smokey on Friday talking to the girl that comes over. Never, never, ever, 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 ever,
never, ever, ever, never,
ever, ever,
never,
no more,
never. No, I can't.
I don't know. And so the way things are shaping up out there, I mean, I don't know if it looks.
Here's a stat. I meant to bring this up, and I had to find it. So Jarrett Allen in the first half, 12 points, 11 rebounds, 6 steals. He was the first player since 1997 to record 10 plus points, 10 plus rebounds, and 5 plus steals in any half of the playoffs. So Jarrett Allen is having a crazy postseason run so far. And I know we're only in the first round, and I know it was only 4 games, but I'm telling you right now, Jarrett Allen, like, this team has found they found something.
They did. So, they absolutely did. Thank you, Lou. Thank you, Lou. And
thanks, Lou.
I really appreciate it. Lou is amazing. Had a great time with him at the and others, Sherry and John Suchin and his son, and Sherry's significant other, Matt, at the draft night event at the stadium. So Lou, appreciate you tuning in here. I don't know where I was exactly going.
No, we were talking about Golden State. Yeah. Talking about Golden State, and I interrupted. So that's what we do here, folks. That's what we do here.
It is. It's a you know, the
freestyle
polluted stream of consciousness that I employ.
Seeped into my brain.
It is. Jarrett Allen kind of is having a bit of a redemption here, because 2 years ago, unfortunate comment of, well, maybe the lights were a little brighter than we expected. Something I'm paraphrasing.
He didn't say that. No, he said that the lights were brighter than we expected, which, you know, I mean, I can respect it. I can respect it now. Back then I was like, get this guy off this team. Like, he's not gonna, I was pretty upset about it. But like looking at he really is, because last year in the playoffs,
he had the
rib
injury.
Was the only one that really showed up.
Right. He had the rib injury. And then JB tried to call him out for it.
I know. and hence why we have a real coach now.
Exactly. But I
Doesn't
just
it
don't.
seem like, though, this team just seems like it's so different? It's so different. And it's the same team. It's just they're playing more free. They're playing more to their skill. Like, look what Atkinson has done with Evan Mobley. And yes, it's Mobley's work. It's Mobley's talent. It's his body of work. But they're just using him a whole lot different this year than what they ever have. And the biggest, Ty Jerome is going to be my sixth man of the year. I don't care. He's sixth man of the year in my heart. He has been playing so incredibly good, and it's so nice to have that. Now let's talk about your guy who started for an injured DG, Sam Merrill, with the big fat 0 points the other night. Like, why are we putting?
Oh, but did you hear the people who said the Cavs were better off without DG?
Yes. Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. They said they should start Ty Jerome, but they don't understand is the rotations. It's a completely Ty Jerome is a role player. He's not a starter. And I'm not saying that because Ty Jerome isn't good. I'm saying on this particular team, his role is to come off the bench and give that spark. He's going to be that Garland. He's the point. Like, that's what you have to have that. And that's one of tell me you've never watched basketball without telling me, because you don't understand the dynamics of it. Ty Jerome's role is not a starter. And come on, Darius Garland is fine. He had really good games, game 1 and game 2. There was just no need to push that injury.
No, definitely not. It was a good time to be able to give that toe a little bit of a break, and get him healthy. So I think that even though maybe we could have if the Milwaukee Indiana series had gone another game or something like that, maybe that would have given us an extra day. But regardless, he's had an entire week off.
Correct.
I feel like that's going to be fine. We're going to go into that healthy, and they're going to need it because
did you hear what Donovan said when they asked in the post-game interview? They said, you guys you get all of this time off. You rested almost the entire second half. Like, how do you feel about that? Does it mess with your rhythm? And he said, he smirked and he said, man, this is the greatest that I have ever felt. And I was like, like chills, like it just gave me chills.
Yeah, I hear you. I think that Mitchell's in a great place. I worry about him all the time. I see him. He's all over the place, and I get scared about that. I'm like, oh.
He's like the running back that we talked about. He's the smash. Like he's gonna gonna give it all, and there's a high reward, high risk with him.
I mean, the way he's jumping around too, I'm always concerned about the knees, the groin, the ankles, etc. I mean, and Jalen Brunson, tweaked his ankle at the end of the game. That's why he had to leave the game. And then when they couldn't get him back in, I worry about that guy too. But we'll see. I'm really excited for what's to come here this weekend. It's going to be fantastic. So many great things going on. And
it is. I love it. I love it. This time of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. So, well, with that, I think we've beat many subjects to it. Beat a dead horse here.
Yep. I mean, that's what we do. That's our specialty.
It is. And with that in mind, I think we're going to call it a night. So, thank you to everyone who tuned in. Really appreciate it. Heather, thank you as always. Another fantastic edition here, everybody. And so for Heather, I'm Ethan, and you have been tuned in to the best doggone podcast in the land here on the Fanatical Elves Network. Good night.
Good night.